You're not tired, you're uninspired, and your low confidence, it's not who you are, it's how you start your day. What if I told you the first 60 minutes of your morning could completely rewire your self-belief and set you on fire with unstoppable confidence? Let's build the ultimate morning routine, step by step. Confidence isn't born, it's built. And the most powerful time to build it, the moment you wake up. Your morning routine is either fueling your momentum or draining your potential. In this video, we're breaking down 6 powerful steps that will 10x your confidence every single day. Simple, practical, life-changing. Number 1, win the first battle. Get out of bed immediately. Confidence doesn't begin with a speech, it begins with a decision. And often the very first decision you make in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. That decision, whether or not you get out of bed the moment your alarm goes off. Let me be clear, the snooze button is not harmless. It's a small act of self-betrayal. Each time you hit snooze, you're not just delaying your morning, you're delaying your momentum. You're reinforcing a belief, whether you realize it or not, that your comfort is more important than your growth. The moment you wake up, you're at a fork in the road. One path leads to discipline, the other to delay. One leads to ownership, the other to excuses. When you choose to rise immediately, you've already won the first battle of the day. That win creates a ripple effect. You've told your brain, I'm the kind of person who shows up. I keep promises to myself. Now, some people say, but I'm just not a morning person. That's not true. You've just trained yourself to expect less from the first hour of your day. You can just as easily train yourself to expect more, to use those early moments to build strength, not surrender to softness. The alarm is not your enemy. It's your call to action. Your first challenge, and your opportunity to lead your life with power. Getting out of bed immediately is about more than productivity. It's about self-trust. Every time you override that desire to stay curled up and cozy, you are stacking proof in your mind that you are disciplined, that you have control, that you can do hard things. And confidence is rooted in that belief. I can handle discomfort. I can rely on myself. It doesn't mean you have to leap out of bed like a Navy SEAL every morning. It just means you move with intention. You don't debate. You don't scroll. You ride. You've already set the tone before the world makes its first demand of you. You've declared, I'm in control here. And here's something important. This micro action doesn't just affect your morning. It affects how you handle pressure, how you keep your word, how you follow through on bigger goals. Why? Because the way you do one thing is often how you do everything. When you make a habit of showing up first thing in the morning, it bleeds into every area of your life. You start taking your workouts more seriously. You stop procrastinating. You lead better. You speak with more conviction. Because deep down, you've proven to yourself, I do what I say I'll do. And yes, there will be days when it's hard, when the bed feels too warm and your energy feels too low. But that's the point. Confidence isn't built when things are easy. It's built when you do what's right, especially when it's hard. It's built in the uncomfortable, unglamorous moments that no one else sees. So tomorrow morning, don't wait, don't hesitate. When the alarm rings, treat it like your first victory. Feet on the floor, shoulders back. You're not just getting up, you're rising into the best version of yourself. Remember, you don't need more time. You need more action. And it starts with the simplest, most powerful habit of all, getting up the moment the alarm goes off. Win the first battle. The rest of the day is yours. Number 2, move your body, activate energy and momentum. Confidence doesn't come from thinking your way into greatness. It comes from moving your way into it. If your mornings feel sluggish, uninspired, or chaotic, it's likely because your body hasn't been given the signal. It's time to lead. One of the fastest and most reliable ways to ignite your confidence is to engage your body in motion. Not for the sake of burning calories, but for something much more important, activating momentum. Think about it like this. Your body is the gateway to your mind. When your physical energy is low, your mental energy tends to follow. But when you move, when you stretch, walk, breathe deeply, or do a few push-ups, you're waking up the nervous system, releasing endorphins, and sending a signal to your brain. We're alive. We're capable. Let's go. You don't need to crush a 90-minute workout at dawn. You don't need to train like an Olympian. What you need is intentional movement. 5 minutes of jumping jacks, 10 minutes of yoga, a brisk walk around the block while listening to something that fuels your mind. You're not training for perfection. You're training for presence. You're conditioning yourself to start the day with power instead of passivity. There's something sacred about being in motion early. While the world is still quiet, you're already generating energy. That's what separates the reactive from the intentional, the confident from the uncertain. When you move your body, you're not waiting for motivation, you're creating it. And that's the secret most people never learn. Motion creates emotion. We wait around hoping for confidence to arrive like a lightning bolt. But confidence is built when we stop waiting and start doing. When we shake off sleep, shake off doubt, and get into our body. This isn't just about physiology, it's about identity. Every time you move in the morning, you're telling yourself, I'm someone who takes initiative. I'm someone who takes care of my mind by honoring my... That small act is an anchor, a keystone, a decision that cascades into better choices all day long. What happens when you don't move? You stay in a fog, you drift. You scroll, you start consuming instead of creating. But when you get your blood flowing, even just a little, something shifts. You carry yourself differently. You speak with more clarity. You approach problems with more resilience. Why? Because you've moved out of stagnation and into motion. And motion is confidence's best friend. Even better, morning movement doesn't require a gym membership. You don't need fancy gear or a personal trainer. You need a decision to treat your body as your ally, a decision to start your day like someone who is ready to win. You want to feel sharper in meetings. Move. You want to feel more secure in your skin. Move. You want to show up with energy and leadership. Move. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to hand you confidence. You've got to generate it. And you generate it by turning the key every morning through motion. So tomorrow, before the emails and the noise and the expectations of others come flooding in, move your body. Don't complicate it. Just move, stretch, walk, push, flow. Wake up your system and set the tone. You're not just exercising, you're activating. You're not just waking up, you're rising with power. You're not just moving, you're building momentum. And momentum, once it starts, is hard to stop. Move first. Confidence follows. Number 3, cold water, clear mind. Reset your nervous system. If confidence had a physical switch, cold water would be it. There's something ancient and raw about the jolt of cold water in the morning. Whether it's a splash on your face or a full-body cold shower, it delivers a clear message to your brain. Wake up, show up, snap out of survival mode, and step into your power. We live in a world that's constantly pulling us toward comfort, soft pillows, warm beds, climate control, convenience at every turn. But here's the paradox. The more we chase comfort, the weaker we feel. The more we shield ourselves from challenge, the more fragile we become. Confidence doesn't come from avoiding stress. It comes from building the capacity to handle it. Enter cold water. It's uncomfortable. It's inconvenient. But that's the point. When you voluntarily expose yourself to discomfort, you're telling your mind and body, I'm in charge. I can do hard things before 7 a.m. That's powerful. And that's what confidence is really about. Not pretending to be fearless, but facing fear and choosing to act anyway. The science backs it up too. Cold exposure activates your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response, but in a controlled, intentional way. This does 2 things. It boosts adrenaline and dopamine, those powerful chemicals that elevate mood, sharpen focus, and create that unmistakable feeling of readiness. It trains your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. Over time, you don't just react, you respond. That's confidence. So how do you build this into your morning routine? You don't need to jump into an ice bath, unless you want to. You can start small. Begin by splashing cold water on your face for 30 seconds, or end your warm shower with just 15 seconds of cold, then 30, then 60. Over time, you're not just adapting to the cold, you're adapting to the habit of courage. Because let's be honest, confidence is courage repeated. Every time you lean into that cold, you're rehearsing strength. You're conditioning your mind to say, I do uncomfortable things because they make me better. That mindset seeps into everything. How you speak, how you show up at work, how you lead others, and most importantly, how you lead yourself. You don't need to wait until you feel brave. Cold water will make you brave. It's a daily test. And when you pass it, you carry that sense of victory into the rest of your day. You've already done something most people will avoid. You've already faced resistance and acted anyway. That's not just a win. That's identity change. And when your identity shifts, everything changes. You become the kind of person who doesn't flinch at challenge, who doesn't back down from the uncomfortable, who chooses discomfort with purpose over comfort without progress. So tomorrow morning, step up, face the cold. Don't brace for it. Breathe through it. Let it reset your system. Let it train your will. Let it fuel your confidence. Because here's the truth. Confidence isn't found in comfort. It's forged in the cold. Number 4, speak power into your day. Affirmations with emotion. Words shape world, especially the ones you say to yourself. If you want to 10x your confidence, you can't just do the right things. You have to speak like the person you're becoming. The mind is always listening. So the question is, what kind of story are you telling it every morning? This is where affirmations come in, but not the passive, mumbled, half-hearted kind. Not the sticky notes on your mirror that you don't even read anymore. I'm talking about powerful, emotional, conviction-driven affirmations, statements that align your words with your highest identity. This isn't fluff. It's not some feel-good trick to pump you up temporarily. It's neuroscience. It's identity reinforcement. And it's one of the most underutilized tools in building unshakable confidence. You see, your brain is a pattern-seeking machine. It believes what it hears most consistently. If the loudest voice in your life is the one that doubts, criticizes, and questions your worth, you'll live small. But if the voice in your head becomes your biggest ally, your fiercest encourager, and your clearest source of belief. Everything changes. Here's how to do it. Every morning, stand tall. Literally, shoulders back, chin up. Look yourself in the mirror like someone who matters, someone you respect. Then speak truth into your future. Say affirmations that reflect who you are becoming, not just where you are today. I am focused. I am resilient. I am a finisher. I am built for challenges. I thrive under pressure. I am not waiting. I am creating. I am worthy. I am ready. I am enough. But don't just say them. Feel them. Emotions are the glue of memory. If you say powerful words with a flat tone, your brain ignores them. But if you say them with emotion, with belief, with energy, with a sense of ownership, your brain says, this matters. It begins wiring those words into your identity. And that's the key. Identity drives behavior. You can try to willpower your way through doubt, or you can build a core identity that expects confidence. When you affirm your power every single day, you're no longer reacting to the world. You're creating your own reality from the inside out. Some people will say, but what if I don't believe the words I'm saying? That's exactly why you need to say them. Not because they're instantly true, but because they teach your brain what's possible. You're not lying to yourself. You're leading yourself. You're choosing who you want to become and aligning your language to match. And here's the beautiful thing. Consistency compounds. The first few times might feel awkward. That's normal, but stick with it. Because over time, those words will take root. You'll start to act in alignment with them. You'll show up differently. You'll walk into rooms with a presence. You'll take on challenges with a quiet fire. Not because someone hyped you up, but because you built belief from within. Confidence isn't a gift you're born with. It's a voice you choose to amplify. And that voice gets stronger every time you speak power into your day. So tomorrow morning, don't just brush your teeth and rush into the chaos. Take 1 minute to look yourself in the eye and say, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. And nothing can stop. Because the most powerful voice in your life should be the one inside you. Speak with strength. Speak with truth. Speak your confidence into existence. Number 5. Prime your purpose. Review your vision. Confidence without clarity is chaos. If you want to walk through your day with purpose, energy, and conviction, you need a compass. Something to remind you why you're doing all of this in the first place. That's where your vision comes in. A morning without purpose is a morning wasted. You might move fast, check tasks, respond to emails, but without vision, you're just reacting. You're drifting. You're surviving. And survival mode is the enemy of confidence. Confidence thrives when your life has direction, when your mind knows where it's going and why it matters. This is why every confident person you've ever met has this in common. They're connected to a sense of mission. They're not guessing their way through life. They're living on purpose. So what does this look like in your morning routine? It's simple, but powerful. Take 2 to 3 minutes every morning to reconnect with your personal vision. That might mean reading your goals out loud, reviewing your long-term dreams, visualizing your future self, crushing the day ahead, or journaling about who you want to become and how today helps you take one step closer. This isn't fantasy, it's mental rehearsal, and elite performers do it all the time. Athletes visualize the game before it starts. Speakers rehearse success before stepping on stage. CEOs mentally walk through their decisions before meetings, because the mind performs best on paths it has already walked. Even if only in imagination, confidence comes from seeing the win before it happens. So when you sit quietly in the morning and say to yourself, I'm building a business that impacts lives. I'm becoming a parent my kids will be proud of. I'm getting stronger, more focused, more grounded every day. You're not just imagining, you're aligning. You're locking in your trajectory so that your actions flow from clarity, not confusion. And here's what makes this practice powerful. Vision isn't about where you are. It's about where you're going. That's why it fuels confidence. It shifts your mind from what's missing to what's possible. It reorients you toward progress instead of perfection, toward action instead of anxiety. When your purpose is clear, distractions lose their grip. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You stop chasing validation. You start measuring yourself by something deeper, by your mission. And that mission becomes your anchor, even on the tough days. When nothing seems to go right, when self-doubt creeps in, you've got something bigger pulling you forward, something that whispers, keep going, this matters. So don't let your vision gather dust in a journal. Make it a living part of your day. Review it, refine it, feel it, because the clearer your vision, the stronger your steps, and the stronger your steps, the louder your confidence becomes. You are not just another person going through the motions. You're building something. You're becoming someone. Remind yourself of that every morning. Prime your purpose, then live like it's already yours. Number 6, choose your input. Feed your mind. Fuel your fire. You become what you consume,
mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you want to walk into your day with strength and certainty, you have to be intentional about what you allow into your mind first thing in the morning. Most people start their day in reactive mode. They check their phones, scroll through notifications, dive into email. Before they've even taken a deep breath, they've given away their focus, their peace, and their power. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, distracted, or overwhelmed. Here's the truth. Confidence is not just a personality trait. It's an environment you build. And the first thing you feed your mind each morning is either building that environment or tearing it down. You need to treat your mind like elite athletes treat their bodies. No junk, no noise, just fuel, real fuel. You want to be focused. Feed your focus. You want to feel unstoppable. Feed your mind content that strengthens your identity, sharpens your perspective, and expands your belief. This can look like many things. A podcast that fires you up, a chapter of a powerful book, a few pages from a timeless classic, a quote or passage you read and reflect on, a voice memo from your future self. What matters most is intentionality. You're choosing your input. You're not letting the world dictate your mindset. You're not waiting for confidence to show up. You're creating it through conscious consumption. And this isn't about consuming for entertainment. This is education for transformation. You're training your brain to think different. You're learning to see opportunity instead of fear. You're filling your thoughts with stories of people who've overcome, achieved, created, led, and that rewires your internal narrative. You start to think, if they can do it, so can I. That's the power of mental nutrition. It raises your standards. It tunes your awareness. It wakes up the part of you that's been settling and replaces it with the part of you that's hungry. So the question becomes, what are you feeding your mind every morning? Is it complaints and distractions? Or is it wisdom and fuel? Is it headlines designed to scare you? Or words designed to strengthen you? If you want to 10x your confidence, your input has to rise to match that goal. You can't fill your mind with garbage and expect to walk through your day like a warrior. Great minds aren't born. They're built through consistent, high-quality input. You don't need hours, just 5-10 minutes each morning to consume something that shifts your state, sharpens your edge, and anchors your focus. Stack that habit daily and watch how you begin to think bigger, act bolder, and carry yourself differently. Because here's the deeper truth. When you control your input, you reclaim your power. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the architect of your mindset. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up and wonder. Wake up and weaponize your focus. Choose input that lifts you, content that empowers you, messages that mirror the person you're becoming. Feed your mind with intention, and your confidence will never run empty.